Asked AI.
The surveillance state. In the year 2050, the world had succumbed to the suffocating grip of totalitarian rule. The once vibrant cities now stood as monuments to oppression, cloaked in a perpetual shroud of fear and surveillance. The ruling regime, known simply as the Authority, had consolidated its power through relentless propaganda and ruthless control over every aspect of daily life. Within the sprawling metropolis, towering skyscrapers cast ominous shadows over the streets below. Each building served as a sentinel of surveillance, bristling with cameras and sensors that monitored every movement of the populace. From the moment one stepped outside their door, they were ensnared in the web of observation, their every action scrutinized for signs of dissent. The citizens of the city lived in a state of constant unease, never knowing when they were being watched or who might be listening. Privacy was a luxury few could afford, as even the most intimate moments were subject to the prying eyes of Big Brother. The Ministry of Truth. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of the city lay the nerve center of the Authority's propaganda machine, the Ministry of Truth. Here, a legion of bureaucrats toiled ceaselessly to shape the narrative of the regime, rewriting history to suit their own agenda. The walls of the ministry were adorned with portraits of the Authority's leaders, their stern visages a constant reminder of their omnipotent presence. Behind closed doors, teams of propagandists worked tirelessly to fabricate lies and distortions, weaving them into the fabric of reality until truth became indistinguishable from fiction. Books were censored, art was suppressed, and dissenting voices were silenced with ruthless efficiency. Any information deemed subversive was expunged from the public record, leaving behind a sanitized version of history that served only to glorify the Authority and vilify its enemies. The Thought Police. Enforcing the will of the Authority were the dreaded Thought Police, an elite force of enforcers tasked with maintaining order through fear and intimidation. Clad in black uniforms and armed with truncheons, they patrolled the streets with an iron fist, their presence striking fear into the hearts of the populace. The Thought Police operated with impunity, their authority unquestioned by the citizens they purported to protect. They prowled the streets like predators, hunting down any hint of dissent with ruthless efficiency. Those who dared to speak out against the Authority were swiftly dealt with, disappearing into the night without a trace. In the eyes of the Thought Police, no one was above suspicion. Neighbors spied on neighbors, children informed on their parents, and trust became a rare commodity in a society where betrayal was the norm. The proletariat. Beneath the watchful eye of the Authority, the proletariat toiled ceaselessly, their labor fueling the insatiable machine of the state. They lived in squalor, crammed into overcrowded tenements with little access to food or clean water. Yet, despite their suffering, they dared not speak out against their oppressors, resigned to their fate as cogs in the oppressive machine. Each day began before dawn, as the workers trudged wearily to their assigned tasks. Whether toiling in factories, tending to fields, or serving the needs of the elite, their labor was the lifeblood of the regime, sustaining the lavish lifestyle of those in power. Despite their hardships, a flicker of defiance remained in the hearts of some. Whispers of resistance spread like wildfire through the slums and alleyways, fueling the hope of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. The Inner Party. At the apex of the Authority's hierarchy stood the Inner Party, a shadowy cabal of elites who wielded absolute power over the fate of millions. Immune to the hardships endured by the proletariat, they lived lives of luxury and excess, insulated from the suffering of those they ruled. Their influence extended into every facet of society, from politics and industry to culture and entertainment. They dined on delicacies while the masses starved, indulged in opulence while the city crumbled around them. Yet, despite their outward facade of invincibility, cracks began to appear in the veneer of their authority. Dissent simmered beneath the surface, threatening to erupt into open rebellion at any moment. The Resistance. Amidst the despair and oppression, whispers of resistance began to stir. In the darkest corners of the city, a clandestine network of rebels worked tirelessly to undermine the Authority's grip on power. They operated in secrecy, their identities known only to a select few, their every move a gamble in the deadly game of cat and mouse with the Thought Police. Their ranks were comprised of men and women from all walks of life, workers, intellectuals, artists, and activists, united by a common cause: the desire to overthrow their oppressors and usher in a new era of freedom and justice. But the path to liberation was fraught with peril, and the odds of success seemed insurmountable. For every victory won, countless lives were lost, sacrifices made in the name of a future that seemed increasingly uncertain. The battle for freedom. As the year 2050 drew to a close, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The struggle between tyranny and liberty raged on, each side locked in a bitter struggle for supremacy. But in the depths of despair, a flicker of hope remained, the indomitable spirit of those who refused to surrender to the darkness. For in the darkest of times, it is often in the smallest acts of defiance that the seeds of revolution are sown. And though the road ahead may be long and arduous, the flame of freedom burns eternal in the hearts of those who dare to dream of a better tomorrow.